right. As Mike back here said, today's Sunday, right? Where is everybody? Probably strolling in a little late, huh? So let's make some noise and call everybody in, shall we? Stand up if you're able and willing, and we'll do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. If you ask me who am I am wisdom, I am light, I am more than meets the eye, I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. If you ask me what am I am beauty, I am joy, I am more than meets the eye, I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. I can choose to be the light that brightens someone darkest night. I'm so much more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. One more time. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life.
Yeah, good. Here is a familiar one, just not necessarily always in this context, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I am a powerful, creative, spiritual being. Again. I am a powerful, creative, spiritual being. I can create anything I want in this life. I can create anything I want in this life. The universe is on my side and I am loved. The universe is on my side and I am loved.
grace is on our side, and we are loved. We are loved. We are loved. We are loved.
Please take a seat. Good morning. What a great opportunity to welcome you beautiful people on this first Sunday in July. And I want to take a moment to remind everybody to please silence your cell phones. And I want to take another moment to welcome those of you who may be tuned in this morning on our YouTube channel. Glad to have you with us. In that capacity, it's better than not having you at all. So thank you for being with us. And because it's the first Sunday of the month, it is also Birthday Sunday. So I would invite anybody who is among the elite who are celebrating a birthday in July, please step forward now so that we may honor you. No. Come on, Bill. Come on, Bill. So you want to know the meaning of chosen people? All right, let's do it.
You can do it? No, D7. Oh. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, you're wonderful. Happy birthday to you. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you, you're wonderful. God is blessing you now.
Wait. Reverend Mike, you have to go back down there. So I don't know if you saw the balloons and all the hullabaloo as you were coming in, but Reverend Mike has a special birthday coming up in 2 days, right? I think.
Yes,
Happy birthday, happy birthday. No, just kidding. Well, we're going to sing it joyfully, just to Reverend Mike, okay? So here we go. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Reverend Mike. Happy birthday to you. And I believe that there's some surprise something or other downstairs after the service, but I won't give it away because I don't know who knows. It's not a surprise.
I don't know why you're making such a big deal out of somebody who's just turned 45. And I suppose I should count my blessings. You could have been singing The Old Gray Mare, and you refrained from doing that, so thank you. I also want to double check. Anybody here for the first time today? Okay. Then we can move along. And with that, I want to invite Wanda Fay to please come forward and share with us today's daily word reading.
Good morning, and happy birthday to you. Now, can y'all guess what the daily word is for today? Can you guess? Can you guess? Can you guess? Beautiful. Good morning, beautiful people. One of my favorite words. Oh, and the daily word is 100 years old this month. 100 years old. So if you do not have a description of our daily devotional, I encourage you to, there are copies out there for purchase. You can pick one up out there in our little vestibule area, or you can go to unity.org, go to Daily Word, and you can Subscribe any way you want. You can get a hard copy, you can get it sent to you in email. There's no reason why we should not be getting our spiritual nourishment every single day. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. My open heart discovers beauty all around me. I see beauty in soaring mountains and rolling seas, in majestic forests and kaleidoscopic fields of wildflowers. I hear beauty in music, bird songs, and the laughter and conversations of people in fellowship. Searching beyond my senses, I discover a greater depth of beauty. The mundane items and landmarks I may take for granted take on a deeper beauty when my memories fill them with meaning. My dear ones become even more beautiful to me when I pause to remember our fondest experiences and the love that binds us. I move through each day with my mind and open heart, with my mind and heart open. Now, even the most ordinary items, places, and circumstances become more and more precious and beautiful to me. And from 2 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter, 18th verse, let's see if it can give us a little more insight into this beautiful thing. It reads as follows, "And all of us, with unveiled faces, seeing the glory of the Lord as though reflected in a mirror, are being transformed into the same image." Did y'all get that? When I read that this morning, my heart just jumped for joy. Seeing the glory of the Lord as though reflected in a mirror, are being transformed into the same beautiful image. That's our daily word for today. Beautiful. And I am your prayer chaplain in service today. So if you are standing in the need of prayer, whatever form that prayer may take, I'll be here down in the front to pray with you. And if down in the front is not where you want to do it, we have private spaces as well. Good morning, beautiful people. Happy Sunday.
Thank you, Wanda Faye. And now please join in praying with me our Spirit's Unfolding Vision Prayer. Guided by divine wisdom, inspired by divine imagination, centered in divine love, and knowing that God is our source, we boldly move forth in faith as we allow Spirit's expanding vision to unfold in our lives, in the life of the spiritual community, and our world. Thank you, God. Amen. And now I invite you to return to your feet, and please join in singing and praying the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Please have a seat. And now it's time for us to bless our children. I invite our children and their sponsors to please come forward so that we may do that. Please join me in blessing them. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you and know that you are empowered to do great things.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
I kind of put this song together to coincide with Mike's talk, and hope you guys like it. Maybe I didn't see the signs, didn't grasp the chance to find that dreams we hold can be so real. Every thought within our minds shape the world and the ties that bind. Nothing's real until we make it real. Nothing's real until we make it. All our hopes we have to take it. In our hearts we hold the power to reveal. Every dream is just a whisper till we give it life and vigor. Nothing's real until we make it real. Sometimes we might lose our way, feel the night and forget the day, but our dreams can light the path ahead. Every moment that we breathe is a chance to believe that nothing's real until we make it. It is said. Nothing's real until we make it. All our hopes we have to take it. In our hearts we hold the power to reveal. Every dream is just a whisper till we give it life and vigor. Nothing's real until we make it real. When the doubts start creeping in and the shadows fill our night, we must turn and face the wind, turn our dreams into the light. So let's build the world we need, make our dreams our reality, 'cause nothing's real until we make it real. Nothing's real until we make it real. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. That was real as in real good. Okay. Thank you to the rest of the music team, too. I never want to forget to do that. So real quick story for you. A guy was passing by a pet store and he saw a sign in the window, "Talking dog for sale." And he says, "This I have to see." So he goes into the store and he says, "What's this about a talking dog?" And the store owner says, "Yeah, he's over there in the corner." So the guy walks over to the dog and he says, "Well, if you could talk, why don't you tell me your life story?" And the dog says to him, "Well, in my early days, I lived in the Alps and I rescued people who were victims of avalanches. And then I went for 5 years and served my country in Afghanistan. And these days lately, I pretty much just confine myself to reading stories to residents of retirement homes." And the guy's flabbergasted. And he goes up to the owner and he says, "How could you possibly want to get rid of an incredible dog like that?" And the owner says, "Because he's a damn liar. He hasn't done any of those things." And I have one quick limerick to you because it's also on topic today, okay? This was written by my mother and given to me in my graduation from 8th grade in my autograph book. "Roses are red, violets are green. You think that you're handsome, but it's only a dream." Thank you, Mom. Our topic today is becoming disillusioned. And generally speaking, becoming disillusioned is not a good thing. We have expectations about someone or something, and then those expectations are not met, and we become disillusioned. We put our faith and trust in somebody, and that somebody lets us down, and we become disillusioned, not just in that person, but maybe even also then we become disillusioned about relationships. We have dreams that we want to see fulfilled, but try as we might, we just can't seem to make them manifest in our lives. And so after a while, we grow tired and we become disillusioned and we give up. But today I want to flip things around a little bit. And instead of looking at becoming disillusioned as a negative thing, I want to offer it today as a positive thing. I want to talk about the art of disillusioning. And I want to approach this from a point that disillusionment is not something that happens to us, but something that we are empowered to make happen in our lives. We live in a world of illusions. The Buddhists and the Hindus both subscribe to the belief that the world is Maya, or all illusions. And advertisers come at us with gimmicks of humor, fear, and the illusion of elitism. If you don't have an iPhone, you don't have an iPhone. And the implication there is all cool people have an iPhone. And if you don't have an iPhone, you just are not cool. And in the political arena, let's just be honest about this, we have all kinds of leaders that try to convince us with lies. Just like the dog in my opening story. And even though we may know that we're being told untruths, we sign on to them anyway. Why would we do that? Because in some way, shape, or form, they are consistent with the illusions that we have built around ourselves with regard to our own lives. They are compatible and complementary because that's our story. Illusions are not all that bad. When my granddaughter Ella was between the ages of 3 or 4, I took her to the park and we engaged in a fantasy. She decided that I was going to be a bunny. And she embarked out orders. Okay, rabbit, here's a bench. You go to sleep now. I'm going to go and get food for you. And she came back with a couple of twigs, which were supposed to represent carrots, and I pretended to eat them. And the biggest thing was, as I walked, I was instructed, nope, bunnies don't walk, they hop. And so for 10 minutes, I was hopping around this park, and it was wonderful. And illusions serve other purposes too. We use illusions just to take a little bit of information about something, and we allow that to program our brains so that our brains could go into automatic pilot, and we don't have to analyze anything. And we all do this. We meet somebody for the very first time. We introduce ourselves, we shake hands or whatever, and we exchange little tidbits about one another. And as we're walking away from that encounter, we have already begun to write a story about that person. Most of the stories that we put together have been formed by bits and pieces that have come to us primarily through our 5 senses. And so we write stories about our job. We write stories about our relationships and the characters in those relationships. And we write stories about ourselves. And those stories about ourselves, much of the information that we put into those stories has been fed to us by other people who have told us stories, have told stories to us about us. And after a while, those stories become our truth, and they are not subject to editing. Not even when evidence comes along, which absolutely, definitively tells us that our original thoughts, our original thinking that went into writing the story about ourselves, that thought was wrong. There is no breaking of character, and ad-libbing is not allowed. And as a result, we frequently go about parts of our lives, at least, if not most of our lives, not really being real. There are 2 stories that I want to share with you from the Hebrew Scriptures because they are really on point today. And they're really the very same story told from slightly different perspectives or with different endings. And the first story is from the book of Numbers, and it's at the long-awaited end of the 40-year journey of the walk through the desert by the Israelites. And they come upon the city of Canaan. And they were told, they were instructed by God that it was theirs for the taking. And so Moses designates a couple people to go into the Canaanite kingdom and spy and come back and give us a report in terms of what we will be facing when we go into battle. And they're gone for Ironically, 40 days. What a coincidence. And they come back and they give their report. They say that the people are not weak like we thought that they would be. They're big and they're strong. And their cities are large and they are really fortified. And we're kind of like grasshoppers in comparison to them. Well, the leaders get this report, and because they received the message from God, they're ready to move forward. But there's a rebellion. And the people basically are saying, we're not going into that just to get slaughtered. It'd be better if we walked back to Egypt, where at least we were alive. The second story takes place in the book of Joshua. It is basically the same story. In this story, the Israelites approach the city of Jericho with the purpose of seizing it. And this time Joshua, Moses was retired at that point. Joshua, again, tells 2 spies to go in and get the lowdown on what's going on there. And they do that, and they too return. And they give kind of a very same analysis of what they saw. The Canaanites are strong. The Canaanites are powerful. And what's more, the city of Jericho is fortified by a big, strong cement wall that goes all the way around the entire city. But in this case, they look at the instructions given to them by God, who tells them to do this. Take all of your people, and for 6 days, travel in parade fashion 6 times around the city. And all of the while, the high priests are blowing their horns, and the people are chanting and singing, and they are preceded by the Ark of the Covenant, which represents the presence of God that is with them. And on the 7th day, you parade around that city 7 times. And they do this. And on that 7th day, as they are parading around for the 7th time, the walls of Jericho literally crumble. And they're able to go in, overcome the Canaanites, and take over the city. There's some really powerful, simple but powerful metaphysics to the story. The first was the walls represent what we can't do. And we have all kinds of I can'ts in our lives because of the illusions that we have adopted and the stories that we have written about ourselves. They are illusions that are predicated upon things like guilt, shame, fear, and unworthiness. And there's a whole long list of I can'ts that we produce internally as a consequence of those things. I can't do that. I can't do this. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not tall enough. And it even goes into the range of I can't be happy. And we live with that illusion. But the granddaddy of them all, the real biggie, is the wall, what I call the no love wall. It's an illusion of a wall that we have built around for ourselves. And on the inside of that wall, we sit and we are confined in living under the illusion that we are not lovable. And then as a consequence of that, by extension, on the other side of the wall, we live with the illusion that we are not capable of being loving. Those walls are very powerful. Illusions though they may be, they are very real to us, and they infiltrate so much of the very fiber of our being, of the very fiber of our lives. The second metaphysical principle is that business of parading for 6 days, 6 times a day, and on the 7th day, 7 times. That was prayer. You know, even in unity, where the whole emphasis is on prayer, even in unity, where it was the very seed of the unity movement, prayer, we minimize it an awful lot. And I'm sure that you've had conversations with somebody who is ill or going through some difficulty in their lives, and you say, I will pray for you. And we say that, and we mean that, and we may actually do that once. I went for a doctor's appointment on Wednesday, just a physical, and the nurse that was there was very pregnant. So I said, when are you due? And she said, I'm in my 8th month. I'm due within a month, hopefully sooner the better. And I didn't use the word prayer, but I just said, I affirm for you and for your baby that everything's going to go well, and that you and your baby are going to be very, very healthy. And I don't know what it is, but every day since that brief encounter, I have had her in my mind, and I reaffirmed that prayer. There's a reason, you know, if my math is correct, 6 times 6 is 36, plus 7 is 43. That 43 times they processed. It was an ultimate prayer of affirmation, but first it was it was a type of prayer that we call in unity denials. It's what I'm calling today the process of becoming disillusioned. To debunk everything in our lives that hold us back and keep us from being real. If I had to pick out one singular message from the Gospels as it relates to this talk, is that the good news, the real good news of the Gospels is that we can liberate ourselves from the illusions that are keeping us back and holding us down. And if you want to subscribe to the notion that Jesus came to save us from our sins, the only sin that he came to save us from was the illusion that we were powerless to deal with all the things that weren't real. And so there's a reason that he went after the Pharisees and the high priests with all of their fancy robes and all of their dogmas and all of the rituals that had to be sustained and held tight regardless of everything that was happening in the world and regardless of everything that was happening in people's lives. It was all an illusion. And he, at one point, got so frustrated with the Pharisees that he called them whited sepulchres. In other words, a description that depicted them as all nice and clean and pretty on the outside. But on the inside, the reality is, when you took away the illusion, that they were dead. This business of becoming disillusioned in a positive way, it's a business of spiritual addition by subtraction. Because we have to get rid of the clutter before we can really be constructive in putting together the type of life that we were called to put together. And you might go back to that story in which the Israelites, through their prayer, brought down the walls of Jericho and were able to overcome this. And you might say, yeah, but they had God on their side. People, friends, that's the whole point of the story. So when we're all tied up in our illusions, in our importance, in our significance, and our fears, we're not taking into account that God is on our side. Not just outside of us, but deep within us. And if you're going to subscribe that you are a beloved son or daughter of Spirit, of God, and then say, but I'm really frightened and I can't trust. I'm going to get hurt. I can't love. And I can't accept that you mean it when you're telling me that I'm lovable. You are not being real. You are not here to serve your purpose. So I want to go back to the Gospels. The real message isn't that Jesus did all of the things that are scripted in the Gospels. The real message is that you are capable of doing all those things. It's actually a phrase in the Bible by Jesus. All I can do, you will do and more. But you got to get rid of the noise. His message was really very simple in his cures. You know, to the paralytic, if you want to walk, walk. If you want to see, open your eyes. It's an illusion that we can be confined and restricted from our fullness by virtue of maybe something that we're suffering. Look at the likes of Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles and Andre Bocelli and the incredible artistic beauty that they bring to the world through music. Do you really want to think that they're blind? It's an illusion. And I understand that what I'm preaching today isn't easy. Because if we start debunking or disillusioning ourselves, distancing ourselves from our illusions, our whole world changes. And it can be scary. I want to share with you a very brief verse from the book of Isaiah. And these are Isaiah's words based on the messages that he felt that he was getting from the people. They represent the people. They say to the seers, see no more visions. And to the prophets, give us no more visions of what is right. Tell us pleasant things. Prophesy illusions. We really, really cling to our illusions. Because in our illusions, we could deceive ourselves that life is pure, life is simple, life is easy. All I got to do is turn on the television. All I have to do is go to a baseball game. All I have to do is play cards. All I have to do is eat a nice meal, have a bed to sleep in, and I'm all right and the world's all right. See, you could have all of those things without being caught up in things that are not real. And in that sense, once you do that debunking, that's when life enters into its fullness. You want to get rid of your illusions? You have to be willing to walk around the walls 6 times a day, maybe 7 on the 7th day. The only way, really, to become spiritually disillusioned is to pray. So we're going to do that right now. All thoughts are prayers, regardless of what those thoughts may be. So I invite you now to join me in some very deliberate prayer. And just allow yourself to flow into that energy. And really today to keep it very simple. And as we talk about listening to the still small voice that is within us, we move into that space this morning in the realization that sometimes that still small voice is asking things of us, giving direction to us, that is really difficult. Because they would involve praying, shifting our thoughts that we exercise all the time, reshaping them and sending them off in a different direction. But that is why we do what we do right now. And so by going into this meditation, we're entering into a sacred covenant. Tell us, Spirit, what is ours to do? Tell us, Spirit, what do we need to let go of in order to do that which you are asking of us to do? And so I'm just going to invite you at this time to go into that space and really tune in and listen as passionately as you possibly can in some moments of silence. And now softly I invite you to return to this space, this physical space. And as you return to this physical space, you bring along with you the spiritual space in which you have been dwelling for the past couple of minutes. And so you return with the knowing that all things are possible. All things are possible when we understand that the presence, the reality of God doesn't just surround us, it dwells within us, and that is not an illusion. And for this opportunity to come together, to be together, to pray, to share with each other, to bear witness with loving understanding that we are all involved in this journey. For this experience, Spirit, and for the love in which we are truly immersed, we say thank you, and so it is. Amen. Thank you. Now it's time for our love offering, our sacrament of giving and receiving. Thank you so much for the dollars and cents that you contribute, and thank you for the gift of yourself, which you also display in this church family in so many incredible ways. And join me now in praying our affirmations. God is my instant, constant, abundant source of supply, and divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all the good that I am, I have, I give, and I receive. Divine love flowing through us blesses and multiplies all the good that we are, we have, we give, and we receive.
Look out the window. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see clouds of blue and skies of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. It is wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Okay, we have some announcements. The women's group meeting is right after the service today. Ladies, you are all welcome to attend. The backpack drive ends next Sunday, and there aren't many backpacks to donate. Please consider purchasing a new backpack for middle school and high school kids. They will be distributed to our local partner schools. The paddleboat cruise tickets are now on sale for the July 24th evening cruise. Did you miss the last one? Well, don't miss this one. It was a fun time, and this time it's going to be even better. Next Sunday's service will focus on prosperity. The message will be delivered by Paul Turner, a highly successful financial advisor, and after the service, Paul will conduct a workshop outlining steps and procedures to become a more prosperous and experience a more fulfilled life. I want to clarify something. When I made this announcement last week, some people thought that this was a promotion to maybe enlist Paul's services as a financial advisor. That's not what this is about. This will be a prosperity class that will mirror the mastermind program in ways in which you could overcome the illusion of lack in your life in order that you can affirm a life of prosperity. So please consider this and sign up at the sign-up table, because there will be materials that will be distributed, and we want to have a handle on how many we need to do. And one more very important announcement. On Friday, August 2nd, there is a Kane County Cougar game, which we are going to try to assemble a group to attend. At the Bell Ballpark, it is All Faiths and Harry Potter night. The admission for that is $9. Any kids that are wanting to go, that fee will be picked up by the church. Activities will include running the bases and post-game fireworks. We do need a minimum of 20 people, 20 seats, and we have to have that in by next Sunday. So I'm inviting you to come to this fun event. It's not a moneymaker for the church. It's a bonding event for people who want to celebrate the beauty of one another. And if you are interested in doing this, sign up with Mary downstairs today after the service. And that concludes our announcements. So I invite you to please rise and confer upon one another our congregational blessing, followed by our prayer of protection and our peace song. You turn to the person next to you or across the aisle, and let's do it. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you, and know that you are empowered to do great things. And our prayer of protection, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Sing it out.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with